I want you to imagine two people. Person A works 12 hours a day. They are constantly busy. They're always answering emails, always in meetings, always checking their phone. They feel productive and they feel important. Person B works 4 hours a day, but those 4 hours, they are completely focused. No phone, no email, no distractions, just deep, concentrated work. The kind of work that actually moves the needle. The kind of work that gets them towards their goals. At the end of the year, who do you think accomplished more? Person B, every single time. The ability to focus is the single most valuable skill you can develop. And it's also the skill that's most under attack in our distraction-obsessed world. Today, we're talking about how to protect your focus like your future depends on it. Because it does. By the end of this episode, you're going to know how to eliminate distractions, create deep work blocks, and accomplish more in 4 focused hours than most people do in 40 distracted ones. Let's dive in. A few years ago, I had a problem I didn't even realize was a problem because I was busy. All day long, I was doing something. Answering emails, scrolling through social media, planning, researching, making lists. All the things, right? But at the end of the week, when I looked back at what I had accomplished, it felt like it was almost nothing as it relates to my goals. I worked hard and I was tired, but I was constantly in like a shallow work mode, I would call it. Constantly reactive, constantly available, constantly distracted. My phone at the time was always within reach. I start drafting good on one of my books and then boom, a notification. And I check it. And then I see 3 other apps that I wanted to click into. And before I knew it, I was on Facebook. I sit down to work on the book and then remember that I needed to check email. And then I needed to check my inbox. And then I needed to see something that reminded me of something else. And then I had a new tab open on my computer and then another tab. And before I knew it, 2 hours later, I hadn't really done anything that I needed to do. Does that sound familiar? Yep, you're distracted. And unfortunately, distraction is the killer of dreams and it stops us from achieving our goals. Think about it. Your phone vibrates an average of 96 times a day. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. And every time it vibrates, it pulls your attention away. Even if you don't check it, your brain is now thinking about it. And research shows it takes 23 minutes to fully recover your focus after a distraction. So if you're getting interrupted every 10 minutes, you're never actually focusing on your task. You're spending the entire day in a state of, I guess we would call partial attention. Partial attention produces partial results. Uh, you can't achieve big goals with scattered focus. You need deep work time. You need uninterrupted blocks of time where you are fully focused, fully present, fully engaged, and fully committed to the task that you have at hand. So, this is really what separates the people who finish from the people who stay busy. All right. Our mindset shift for today is this. Busy is not the same as productive. Focus is what wins in this goal achieving environment. You can work 80 hours a week and accomplish nothing if those 80 hours are scattered all over the place. And then you wonder why you're tired and not a lot is done. Or you can work 20 focused hours a week and change your life. The difference? The depth of the work. Shallow work typically is reactive, checking emails, scrolling social media, attending meetings, responding to notifications. While all of this feels productive, it doesn't move your goals forward. Deep work is proactive, writing, creating, building, strategizing, solving problems. This is that kind of work that changes everything, including your life. The problem? Deep work is hard. A lot of people want to give you easy, quick fixes. I got to promise you a quick fix. You'll be able to. They're lying. Your brain usually resists it because deep work requires energy and focus. Shallow work is easy. Our brains love it because it gives us dopamine hits without requiring much effort. So if you don't protect your focus, you'll default to shallow work every single time. You'll spend your days checking boxes on that to-do list instead of building your future. That's why you need to block out time for deep work. And during that time, you got to eliminate everything else. No phone, no email, no notifications, no interruptions, just you and your work on your goals. Now, let me give you an example. When I decided to write my first book, I knew I couldn't just fit it in between emails and meetings. I had to create space for it because it was deep thinking. So I blocked out 6 to 8 a.m. every weekday as my deep work time. And sometimes it was 5 to 7 because remember, I'm a morning person. And so I have to block out that time in the morning, which is why I think those hours are like the golden hours. But during those 2 focused hours, I wrote an entire book in 2 months. A few hours a day. That's it. But they were focused hours. Proverbs 4:25 says, "Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you." Fix your gaze. Don't look left. Don't look right. Don't get distracted by every shiny object or notification that pops up on your phone. Look straight ahead at your goal and move on it. And that's what helps you achieve your goal. All right, so let's do a little bit of work. Let's build your focus system. You know what I'm going to say. Grab a pen and paper. We've got a few exercises to do, and we got a few to do today. So hang out with me. Shouldn't take us too long. First, I need you to answer these questions honestly. What pulls your attention away from important work? Write it down. Is it phone notifications, email, social media, other people interrupting you with their problems and issues and requests? TV? Sometimes we're not watching the TV, but it's streaming in the background. So we hear it, we get distracted. Now, I love me some Dateline, but I can't be listening to Dateline while I'm trying to do deep work because then I get thrown all off. And to be quite honest, there's some music I can't listen to while I'm doing deep work. I got to play something without words to it so I can really focus. Otherwise, I just get all caught up in the goodness of the Lord and then I can't focus because the song got me all in the spirit and not focus on the task at hand. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have to get my praise on at a different time, though. Multitasking. We think we can multitask as humans, but we cannot. I'm going to call you out. A lot of tabs open on that computer while you're trying to do deep work. Distraction. Okay? Another one that keeps us distracted that you probably need to write down is saying yes to everything. Keep this in mind. When you say yes to everything, you say no to your goals. Another distraction is our mind wandering. We're having a million different thoughts. Sometimes I'm working on something and I think I'm in deep work, but I've already made a whole grocery list in my mind. So I want you to write down your top 3 distractions. These are the ones that are the enemy of your focus. So what are the enemies of your focus? Take a minute and do that. Then exercise 2, I want you to create deep work blocks. Now, let's schedule your focus time into your week. I want you to ask yourself, when can I block out 2 to 4 hours of completely uninterrupted time? If you've watched my previous video, we talked about the 5 to 9 advantage. Go check that video out. If you watched that one already, then I know you probably already know when your 2 to 4 hours of completely uninterrupted time is. Maybe that uninterrupted time is early in the morning. Again, I really believe that 4 or 5 a.m. hour is the most divine hour to work on deep work and focus, because then you don't really have to tell anybody no because they're asleep. No telemarketers are calling your phone between 4 and 6 a.m. But if you're not a morning person, maybe it's late at night after you put the kids in the bed. Or maybe your deep work time is on Saturday morning. You don't have to answer emails for the job. You better not be answering emails for that job on Saturday morning. We'll talk about that another day. The time of the day really doesn't matter. What matters is you have found that time and you're protecting that time. Write it down. My deep work time is which days of the week? And what will you work on during that time? You have to be specific. If you've watched episode 1 of this Vision to Victory series, we talk about specific actions. So what will you work on? Now that you've gotten that written down, I want you to block it on your calendar. Make it reoccurring on your calendar with alerts as needed. Because if you need some alerts on your phone to remind you, it's deep work time. And then make sure you treat it like a non-negotiable meeting with yourself. Don't schedule dinner with your friends on top of it. Don't schedule any other appointments on top of your deep work time. Because maybe you're thinking, I'll get back to it later. It's not that important. I'm going to go out to happy hour with my friends or whatever that is. Don't let yourself down. You've got to be the best you can be for you. You got to keep the commitments that you make to yourself. Because if you don't take your deep work time seriously, nobody else will. You don't have to tell people that you have a meeting with you at that time. You have a meeting. Just say, I'm sorry, I'm not available. In other words, what I'm saying is don't ghost yourself on your goals. All right, let's get into exercise 3. We're going to eliminate the distractions during your deep work time. So for each of your top 3 distractions, I want you to create a hard boundary. For example, if your distraction is phone notifications, then maybe you put your phone in airplane mode or you put your phone in another room. Put it on ring in the other room. I mentioned this in the last podcast. If someone is having an emergency, which is usually the thing that I worry about, I'm going to miss it. Somebody's having an emergency. Put it in another room. If the phone continues to ring, that means it's an emergency. If it rings one time and it goes to voicemail, they'll be fine. If your distraction is email, now you're going to set a boundary. You're going to close the email so that you don't get the notifications. And then check it after your deep work time, just so you feel better that you didn't miss something. But I think many people are like I am. For some reason, we treat email as if it is a text message and we have to respond to it absolutely immediately. But it is email. It doesn't always need an immediate response. And then if your distraction is people interrupting you. Listen, when I was working on my dissertation, there were times when I used to have to just put a sign on the door and say, I'm busy, come back. Now, of course, because I'm a crazy mom, I would check in with everybody. You good? Did you eat? Did you got water? Are you good? Everything is done. I've done all my responsibilities. Now it's my deep work time. So consider that. Close the door, put a nice little sign on the door. Your kids will probably laugh at it, maybe even have them help you make the sign. But having a sign then helps your family to know not to interrupt you during that deep work time. Tell them you're working on something amazing that's going to be wonderful for them, but you got to get this time done. Now, once you have written your distraction, right next to it, I want you to write your boundary, those boundaries that we talked about. Because if you can plan for the distractions and know what you're going to do as a result, then you will have greater success at this. But you have to be ruthless about this because your focus time is one of your most valuable assets. I value time over money because you cannot get time back. So you've got to protect it. Last exercise. I know I got a lot of them today, right? The one thing. We're going to call this the one thing. So go ahead and write that in your notes. Give it a little title. The one thing. Finally, during your deep work blocks, I want you to focus on one thing. I'm saying that to you, but I have to remind myself of that all the time. I am your 20 tabs open across the top of the computer type of person. And I go from one idea to the next. To be honest, I know I have adult attention deficit disorder, but I do know how to hyper focus on things sometimes. So you are going to focus on just one thing at a time, not 3 things, not 5 things, one thing. Okay? Ask yourself, what's the one task that would make the most significant difference in achieving your goal this week? What's the one thing that you can do? If you're writing a book, maybe it's just one chapter and one really good chapter. And I want you to write that down. That's what you're going to work on during your deep work block. Nothing else. No multitasking, no switching tasks, no I'm just going to check this real quick. I'm going to look at this notification real quick. I'm going to do none of that. One task, full focus until that task is done. That's the system. You're going to identify the distractions. You're going to block deep work time. You're going to eliminate everything else, and you're going to focus on one thing during that deep work time. Do this consistently, and you'll accomplish more in 1 month than most people accomplish in a year. I promise. Now, you just built your focus protection system. You know what's stealing your attention. You know when you're going to do deep work. You now know how to eliminate the distractions. Now you have to do it. So, what are the action steps you need to take? First, download my free Focus Fortress Blueprint. This worksheet gives you the exact system to protect your focus and maximize your deep work time. You can get it in the show notes or in our Fulcrum Mindset community. If you want the full system for eliminating distractions and building your unstoppable momentum, I would love for you to join us in the Vision to Victory course inside the Fulcrum Mindset community on School. We are not learning theory or giving away some get-rich-quick scheme. What we're doing is taking action together in the Fulcrum Mindset community. We're supporting each other. We are holding each other accountable for blocking out those distractions. Next week, we're talking about how to face your fears and take brave action. Listen, the world wants you distracted. Every app, every notification, every interruption is designed to pull your attention away from what matters most. They make more money the longer you are on your favorite app scrolling. That's to hit their goals. Now it's time for you to focus on your goals because scattered focus builds nothing. And this is why we don't reach our goals because our focus gets scattered so fast. But you are going to give it laser focus because laser focus builds empires. From vision to victory, that's going to be your story this year. I'll see you next week.